Hey, how's it going, you guys? This is petplatypus here, and it's time to review a couple episodes of Yu Yu Hakusho, episode 63. This was definitely a far more dramatic episode than the last two, especially with Keiko and what happens with Kuwabara, and I got some things to say about that, but first I'll just kind of talk about the technicals. The animation, it was good. It wasn't anything too horrible or, good or great or anything. It was just kind of okay, standard animation. The overall pacing was fairly solid. It was fine pacing. And the story progression is actually fairly massive. So, yeah, that's the technical side. As far as a summary goes, I mean, it's basically Yusuke getting his ass floored, like just totally spanked across the arena, up and down. We get Toguro sucking in souls with his fucking little tube things he has right here. We get Keiko having these fucking in denial, dramatic, crying scene, which is fairly good. We get some flashbacks of him and Keiko as kids, Yusuke that is, and we have the stuff with Kuwabara. Oh my goodness. So, yeah. Overall, the stuff with Yusuke fighting, I mean, it's okay. It's basically, he tries to punch him, gets knocked away. I'm disappointed, Yusuke. Punches him, knocks Yusuke away, coughs up blood. I'm disappointed in you, Yusuke. Where's your power at? It's literally that for, like, the entire episode. And it's like, it was a little repetitive, but it's not too bad. And, definitely seeing Toguro be such a dominant monster is, cool, but the stuff with Keiko really is, like, the biggest in terms of, like, character. The way she's, like, in denial about everything and how, she's such a close friend with him and all these other things. And what ends up happening is, where that ends up leading is Yusuke ends up having a dream where, it's so funny too, okay, there's this really moment, this really moment, whoa, messed up my talking, but that's nothing new. There's this really cool moment where, really funny and cool, where Keiko, like, walks up to Yusuke when they're, like, really, really little, and she's like, wanna be best friends? He's like, okay, and they, like, shake hands, and it was just really funny how abrupt it was. And then it becomes cool when it turns out to be a dream that Yusuke is having, and Toguro, like, grabs Keiko and, like, crushes her or whatever, and stomps Yusuke. He beats Yusuke so bad, his blood literally turns black and blue. Like, there's a scene where he gets hit, and it goes all negative, and the blood is, like, blue, so I thought of that joke. His blood was literally turned black and blue. No, but, yeah. The stuff with Keiko, though, and the flashbacks and everything, and how it's like, we have a schedule, we do this, this, and that at school, and this tournament's not happening and everything. It's, it's emotional and dramatic, and I think it's well handled. Genkai, oh my goodness, Genkai taking over fucking Pooh was absolutely the funniest thing I've ever seen in Yu Yu Hakusho. I loved that. That was absolutely hilarious. But yeah, and that's pretty much everything. Yusuke gets his ass kicked. Genkai talks to him. We have stuff with Keiko. Now it's like the meat of this episode, like the real big thing. And that is what happens with Kuwabara. Genkai, inside Pooh, says someone has to die for Yusuke to really fucking try. And Togoro's like, well, I didn't really want to do that, but I guess. And really, you had a problem with that? You seem pretty fucking dickish, but what ends up happening is he goes over to Kuwabara, and Kuwabara takes this like a man, dude. He's like, I got this, guys. He wants me. Stab, blood everywhere, Kuwabara dies, and Yusuke freaks out and goes Super Saiyan. And it's literally, I mean, there's already parallels to Dragon Ball, like, oh, he has percentages. That could be a reference to Frieza, whatever. But the fact that you have the villain having percentages for power-ups, killing the best friend that used to be a rival to the main character, like Krillin to Goku, and then having the main character gain a huge power-up. The only difference is that Frieza killed Krillin because he wanted to kill everybody. Toguro did it to bring out power in Yusuke. But I mean, I don't know, it's just, really? Like, it's such a Dragon Ball, like, thing. It's like, it's totally taken right from Dragon Ball. And then there was that scene a couple episodes ago where he was going to full power, and Yusuke was like, I think I may have already said in the review, but when he was going to full power and Yusuke's like, I have to see what he's like at full power, I'm curious. That was exactly like when Goku waited for Frieza to go to full power. And considering Yu Yu Hakusho came out towards the later parts of Dragon Ball, it just feels so it just doesn't sit right with me. How it's not just tropes, it's not just little cliches here and there, references. It's like exact plot point for plot point things kind of happening. And I don't know, it just doesn't really, I don't really like that. But it doesn't make Yu Yu Hakusho a horrible series. I'm not saying it ripped everything off from Dragon Ball. I just think that those things being that similar is a little too much. That goes beyond references. And not a huge fan, but yeah, I mean, it's cool. You know, Kuwabara, that's absolutely huge. Like I said, massive story progression, character death, a main character at that. And I mean, and I loved Kuwabara too, so you know. It definitely hits hard, you know. But yeah, I don't know. We'll see what Yusuke can do in the next episode. I'm not sure if it's going to be an even struggle or if Yusuke's just going to dominate him. I don't remember how it exactly went in the manga. So I'll just leave it at that. I'll probably give this episode around a 9.5. I thought it was an amazing episode of Yu Yu Hakusho. I thought they handled the drama really well. Even though the animation and pacing were fairly standard, I thought the actual presentation was on point, the progression was on point. And yeah, so I'll give it like a 9.5, 9.5-ish area. An amazing episode of Yu Yu Hakusho. And now we'll move on to the next one. Okay, you guys, so episode 64. It's over, it's done, finale, the end. The Dark Tournament is over. Not the arc, but the tournament itself. Yusuke and Toguro is done, and Yusuke won. What a shock. I mean, that was obvious he was going to win, but the fight was cool. In terms of animation, I thought it was pretty great. Great animation. Pacing was good. It was, you know, standard pacing. Story progression, fairly huge. Considering the tournament's now over and, you know, the fight's over and Toguro fucking died. And, yeah, so overall story progression was quite good, the animation was great, and the pacing was pretty standard. Now for the summary of the episode, it's basically Yusuke is, like, angry at himself more than he even is at Toguro, and he's, like, in a sad, depressed state, but he's obviously extremely powerful, he's extremely angry. Very much like Gon from Hunter x Hunter, from a particular scene I'm not going to spoil. I mean, a lot of anime fans have seen the 2011 Hunter x Hunter, but not going to spoil what happens with a character named Gon. Well, he's the main character, but you know. Most people probably, you know that, maybe, if they've heard anything about the series. But yeah, very similar. Togashi used a similar tactic here with the character getting very angry, but having them also very subdued and more subtle and not just exploding with anger. And I like it. I think it's cool and, you know, different. Once again, there's a bit of a Dragon Ball comparison where Toguro's like, maybe I have to kill another, and Yusuke grabs him by the wrist and squeezes it. It doesn't have the same reaction as Frieza when Goku squeezed Frieza's hand, but still, very similar. Not as big of a deal as the other part, but I still can't help but, you know, compare them. Yeah, so that still bothers me, but this one punch Yusuke lands on him, oh my goodness, dude. He hits him right in the cheek. Sends him flying, grinding his head into the ground, slamming through all these rocks. It was great animation, looked extremely painful, it was epic, it was dragged out in a good way, and his neck's all fucked up by the end and shit. But what ends up happening is Yusuke follows that up with a spirit gun, which is really badass. And then they have one more clash, which is kind of disappointing because you want the fight to be epic and badass, and it doesn't have to be dragged out for 10 episodes or anything, but, you know, I was hoping for a little bit more. But, you know, the final clash is pretty cool. He shoots this mega spirit gun, which Toguro blocks it and squeezes it. And it blows up, and Toguro's heavily damaged. Yusuke's heavily damaged. Yusuke collapses. Toguro fucking shatters. He's all fucked up, too. His skin's like all... He literally looks shredded. Like, his body looks literally fucked up and shredded. He collapses and dies. He thanks Yusuke for giving him a fight at full power. And, yeah... And Yusuke's spirit gun was absolutely devastating. He actually just destroyed the wall barrier things that were holding in all the people from the last episode when those came up. And that was the first spirit gun. This second spirit gun was even stronger, and Toguro took it head on. But he died. I'm assuming he's dead. He went all pale and shit. And yeah, Yusuke, winner, victorious, epic, everyone's celebrating. Team Urameshi won the tournament. As far as Kuwabara goes... I don't know. I mean, like I said, I've read a little bit of the manga past this, and I feel like he's back. I don't quite remember. Maybe the wish is how they get Kuwabara back, and that's totally fair. Look, I don't care if a character gets brought back to life if it's done fair, if it's done in a way that's already established, you know, there's no bullshit. So, I mean, if they bring him back with the wish or whatever, or, you know, maybe even don't bring Genkai back. That might be too much. That was really important for his character. Because I don't know if he can bring back 2 people with the wish or whatever. I don't know if this wish has Dragon Ball rules. So, yeah. But we'll see what happens with Kuwabara and everything. But yeah, it was a pretty good finale to the fight. If this was the end of the series, it'd be an extremely disappointing finale, but we'll see how everything goes from here on. Like I said, I've only read some of the next arc. Don't remember much of it. And, yeah, well, we still have to see how the Dark Tournament wraps up, but it's my favorite arc of the series so far, obviously. I mean, it's so much longer and so many more things happen, but yeah, it's definitely my favorite arc. It definitely had good character development for Yusuke. Good character development for kind of Genkai, just seeing more of Genkai, a little bit more of Toguro as well, but mainly Yusuke. So yeah, and I definitely liked his characterization in this, you know, episode and in the last episode. But overall, I'll probably give this episode like an 8.5 to a 9 out of 10. I thought it was a great to an amazing episode of Yu Yu Hakusho. Not like absolutely mind-blowing 11 out of 10, which it probably could have been, but yeah, I liked it. I dug it. I'm going to give it like a 9 to a 9.5 around there. I know I said like 8 a second ago, but fuck that. Like a 9 to a 9.5. It was very, very good. Even from just from an objective standpoint, just the fact that everything wrapped up and, you know, the animation and all that. So, yeah, I'll give it like a 9. So, thanks for watching this video. Tell me what you guys thought of these episodes of Yu Yu Hakusho in the comments below, and I will talk to you guys later. Bye.